When I first went to college, my major was marine biology. And so many people struggle with organic chemistry, for instance, but organic chemistry is really just a process. In legal operations, most of what we do is process-oriented. I would go into client sites and say, well, why do you do that? And the natural reaction is, in many situations, well, we've always done it that way. Yes, but you don't need to do it that way anymore. We can optimize that process by taking waste out. But it's kind of tied to this, you know, the mindset of what's the process.
Do you think that we've delivered on the promise that legal ops has set out to deliver?
Not even close. No. I think we've made an incredible dent and start at it. And we are only a few years into this. And just because it's in our heads and reverberating inside our community so much, it doesn't mean they get it. The legal stakeholders, the company, the finance people that benefit from a lot of the solutions as well. There's so much momentum built, and I think the flywheel is turning. Yes, that is happening, but the promise and the vision is really legal ops is used by legal leaders, by general counsels to run their departments like a business. And no, they're not fully there yet. They're running like law firms or in-house legal departments.
Have we delivered? Yes, we've delivered. I mean, don't get me wrong. The way we practice law now is completely different than when I started in this profession. It is wildly different. I would just like to see legal operations leaders really driving that change and getting that seat at the table and behaving like they belong there, because they do. There's no way to connect the dots if you're not there. You can't be successful unless you have that seat at the table.
Is there fracturing within the legal ops community? Yes, I think there is. I would really talk about this fracturing in terms of philosophy and approach, and actually even motivation. I think people have different motivations and different incentive structures which drive their behaviors in ways that I don't think are as pure and straightforward as maybe originally conceived. I think a lot of the things that made the formulation of ACC and legal ops great was that sense of community and that sense of having a common purpose. I think where we've kind of gone away from some of that is there are people who have formed factions and different ideas of how that should go in terms of what does good look like or what should the direction be.
When the profession was just getting off the ground, the focus was on the fundamentals. It's now generally accepted that those fundamentals need to be in place, and we're building on that now and using AI to enhance those processes. It's become more sophisticated in the last 10 years.
I think technology plays a much larger role in everything that we do now, but I actually try to stick and kind of go back to the fundamentals no matter what. Like, I will always think about people and process before I think about technology, because technology is an enabler. We are adjacent to a profession that is very stuck in its ways of doing things. Yeah. Lawyers. I'm a lawyer, you're a lawyer. And in order for legal ops to succeed, you literally have to be the antithesis of that.
Yeah.
And got to talk about AI. How can you not?
Yeah, I mean, it's...
Anything you guys are grappling with there?
We're going to see the emergence of more AI native organizations. Rather than augmenting people with AI, you're augmenting AI with people.
Yeah.
So you're putting the AI in first and then putting people in the right places around it to make sure it's working optimally.
Yeah. I've been hearing this term in the last, I don't know, few months, human in the loop.
Yeah.
Which is exactly that concept.
Right.
I think you're
rather
seeing...
than AI in the loop.
Yes, exactly. I mean, and that's how legal ops has been, is you put technology into the process.
Yeah.
And here it's, no, the technology is the process and the humans are there as a part of it and they're validating the output.
You know, AI replaces manual tasks, and we are still rife with manual tasks in legal departments. So I think there's a huge opportunity there for cost savings, risk avoidance, time savings. And then there's everything that's in your contract. So how do you get at that data? So that's AI extraction.
With AI, there's always a set of concerns you have to have about, is the AI training on your data? Is there company confidential information? One of the first things you have to do is establish, and the ops function to be a part of this, good governance around when do you use AI, what goes in the tool, what precautions do you have, how do you control for all of that so that your AI use is appropriate to the nature of the confidential work that you're doing.
We do hear a lot of reports of AI disappointment, but that is because people are running ahead and buying these expensive tools and they don't know what to do with them.
It kind of surprises me that people are just so afraid of it, because kind of like using the calculator or a fax machine. I mean, we've seen so much evolution around technology, right? It's not that to do legal research, there's no way that I would go to a law library to do that. So it's changing the starting line, and I would love to be at a newer starting line with this information and data and capabilities so that I can actually now do more because I didn't have to spend as much time getting here, right? And I think it will allow us to be more creative as well. The humans are always going to be there. It's that human in the loop that is so critical. It's just that we're going to be doing different things.
You don't understand what it can do, and then once you get it, it's like, oh, you're never going back.
AI is not a procurement discussion, and it's not a procurement decision. It's not about what I buy. AI is a continuation of an intelligent business design decision.
AI is impacting legal ops because it's a conversation piece right now. Like, everyone is trying to scramble and figure out, like, what do I do with AI? Where do I implement it into my department? Everybody's got their AI mandate. So now the GC feels pressure, like, I have my AI mandate, I am scrambling to go find these tools and figure them out. And that's always been like what a legal ops professional does. Like, GC may not have time, bandwidth to figure out these tools. Legal ops professionals come in and they go, don't worry, I know contract management, or I know e-billing, or I know, and now you insert a new AI tool.
Lawyers are usually not the best positioned people in the room to think through disruptive technology, right? So that's where legal operations can provide even more value right now and in the coming years especially, as all of these AI technologies are coming to market in a way that's, easier to adopt and also safer to adopt from a security, compliance, and privilege perspective.
Hey, how are you?
Hey, good. How are you doing?
Good.
So we'll start the session with just sort of a general AI training. We'll go through some of the ROI, and then they're going to come prepared to create their own writing assistant. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think that's right. Well, just like we did for CLOC. My name is Stephanie Corey. This is your Build Your Own Custom GPT session, so thank you so much for joining us. We're going to go into, how we got introduced to Gen AI soon, but what we're trying to do here today is really give you some practical advice in using tools that are already available to you.
Of course, you need to care about what lawyers are trying to achieve. You need to do your very best to understand how they view the world, and you need to not blame them for not getting it right or being resistant to change. Or basically, you need to recognize that they are your customer. You have to really care about making them successful.
If you were to go out and look at all the job postings that are out there right now on LinkedIn or other marketplaces, there's been a huge proliferation of the role. which is a great sign. The way that businesses run is very different from how lawyers think. You don't learn about data. You don't learn about metrics. You don't learn about KPIs. You don't really talk about business drivers unless they're in a piece of litigation. So you don't learn all of the foundational things that make the business tick. And yet you are a key stakeholder to help the business tick. Lawyers tend to think about risk, and the businesses there be like, what's possible? This is what we can build. I think a healthy balance is a good marriage between the two, but lawyers tend to, I think, over-index on risk. And that's an area where I think they can grow, and I think legal operations can help them do that.
The influence piece is interesting because it really talks about like, what are your reporting lines and what is your mandate? Me, I was always viewed as a natural extension of, or an extension of what the general counsel's view or mission was, yeah? Almost like a chief of staff. And because of that kind of extension of what the general counsel wanted, then I was then given kind of positional influence to help carry out and carry that mission forward. Look, I think what motivates me is the work that's unfinished. I see a place where there is lots of areas for improvement. The things that frustrates me is instead of this being a burning platform, it's more like a melting iceberg. It's kind of just slowly evolving and changing. And for folks like myself and some of the, I think, original legal ops folks, we were brought in to solve some pretty thorny problems and some pretty complicated problems. And so we like to see some of the fruits of our labor around that. And so I think that's still a tad frustrating.
I think the biggest point of friction between the GC and legal ops is when there is a lack of clarity about what the GC needs from the legal ops team and a lack of clarity from the legal ops team about exactly how they can contribute. I think the hardest thing was taking a step back and saying, what are we doing? What processes can we make more effective? What do we need to make more effective? What can we just leave alone because maybe it's not perfect, but it's fine? And then how do we bring others along on the journey so they feel invested, they have a part, they have a role in this? I think it is a very common blind spot for GCs and legal operations professionals to get too focused on tools and not enough focused on strategy. The real question is tool in service of what? What problem are you there to solve? The problem is not that you don't have a tool. The problem is that there's a business issue that you need to solve and you need to figure out how you're going to solve it.
The CLO is critical to the success of a legal operations function. You're starting to see like really high-level legal ops people out there. Legal ops people who are really the right hand of the CLO. I don't want it to sound like we're there, like we did it, you know, but we've come a long way and it's been amazing to watch. Legal operations is relevant everywhere. It's not just relevant in the United States. It can be extremely well leveraged in many other global regions. I'm proud to be a part of the legal operations community. I'm proud to be among the cohort of people that have created this profession.
As ops managers, if we've solved a problem for people, if we've made their lives a little bit easier, if they're not feeling like they're grinding their gears at work, we've been successful. The best thing we can do is tell the value story of legal.
We need this story so that that young person can go, that's what I want to do. That's my calling. That's where I can be entrepreneurial, creative, techie, business-minded, and have impact.
I think that we have not necessarily a challenge, but yet an opportunity to bring people together in order to communicate and discuss how we can better serve the legal operations industry by working together.
Legal ops is imperative, important, and can truly change the way a company runs and a legal department runs. And it's all very profound and impactful if you allow it to be. So that I was at all a part of any of that, I am really proud of it.
Legal ops is not a new concept anymore. It's a profession.
The field is here to stay. What will be interesting to see is what impact they will have in continuing to shape the future.
It's amazing what we as a community have accomplished together so far, and we're still just getting started.
I mean, I'm excited to see all the people that are coming into our world. And even with all of these unanswered questions about legal operations and the future of the profession and where does it go, legal operations is here to stay because of the people who pioneered an idea, who decided 15 or 20 years ago that we needed to do something differently. The legacy for legal operations is firmly cemented in the legal profession itself.